Got my guy Big O back on the show. Didn't mean to rhyme. I do apologize if you're watching this, Big O. What is up, Fin fans? Yes, I brought Big O back on. We're talking about, the off season, preseason, all that stuff, and kind of delving a little bit into the regular season. His thoughts on that. It's a very, very interesting and good conversation. Always is with Big O. Before we jump into that, I got to shout out two new patrons, and Christopher Knowles and Al Morinica. I'm horrible at names. Al, thank you. Christopher, thank you. Guys, if you want to join, Patreon's link below. Hit the join button next to subscribe if you'd like to. Again, never feel like you need to. Just being subscribed and watching the videos and hitting that thumbs up and commenting is all that I care about. Love when you guys comment. I like interacting with you guys, and it gets good feedback, and I can get better. So do that. Also, patchvibes.com. Don't forget to check them out. They have great t-shirts, hats, pins, patches, stickers, everything you could ever want, especially Miami Dolphins. Use the promo code DDW2. You get yourself 20% off. Also, don't forget Backroom Collections. You see the artwork popping up. Fantastic. All NFL teams, MLB, all that good stuff. Hit them up. The link is in the description. Tell them what you want. Use the promo code DDW. You get yourself 10% off. So go do it. But let's jump into this very, very fantastic conversation with the Big O Show. And you know, it ain't no 15-minute conversation because me and Big O like to talk. So let's jump into this. Again, got Big O on the channel. Big O, thank you so much for stopping by again. Always a pleasure talking with you.
It's my pleasure to join you guys. We had a lot of fun last time, and we got the same passion, baby. It's the Dolphins. So let's have some fun and let's talk about it. I got my Merino jersey, right?
Nice.
It says Vikings, but this is, his high school team. So just in case, for those of you that don't follow Central Catholic, there you go. So I brought my Merino classic jersey for you.
Now, we were going to talk about this, but I do a series on the channel called Miami Dolphin Mythbusters, where I look at certain stories and myths around the Dolphins and see if they're true or not. Being that you're wearing a Vikings Merino jersey, is it true that the Vikings tried to grab him and he decided, listen, I'm just going to retire? Is that a true story?
Yeah. There's some truth to that they wanted him after at the end. And then he's like, nah, I'm done. And yeah, I think the 4 years of Jimmy really took a toll on him because Jimmy effed it so up. I mean, I get it. He blessed us with Zach and Jason and Sam and Pat, and God bless him for that and all that good stuff. But just as good as he was on defense, he was that terrible on offense.
Mm-hmm.
And, getting rid of Irving Frye, and he goes on to have 2 Pro Bowl years for Philadelphia right after, and Byers and Kirby and all that. And he took away all the weapons. He took away the audibles. And I think it kind of beat him down. And then it kind of humbled him that he got also physically worn down. Remember, this man never repaired his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, no.
I mean, when I would walk into the locker rooms, because that's when I was a beat guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a beat guy throughout that whole era of Taylor and Zach and all that stuff. I got the end of Shula, the last couple of years of Shula, and then all of Jimmy and most of Wanstead. And then I became a full-time host. So I wasn't on the beat all the time, covering it still and doing my whole combine and all that other stuff that I've done. But I wasn't on, but I was really close to that situation in those days. And I just think it kind of wore him out at that time. And he had enough. I hate to say this, and it's very blasphemous to say this. And I know some of you Dolphins out there, especially you classic ones, the young ones, they didn't even live it. So they don't care. They don't know anything. But the older ones that lived it, the best thing for Marino would have been that when Jimmy wanted to trade him right when he took over and Huizinga stopped him, that probably would have been the best thing for Marino because he still had gas left in the tank. He could have gone somewhere that was ready to go. And, unfortunately, Jimmy thought he could run Dallas's offense in Miami. Only problem is he didn't have Dallas's offensive line or a dude named Emmitt Smith. And, that kind of makes a difference. He did trade his Irving Fryer and his Michael Irving and Irving Fryer. But, everything else he kind of could not build. He could never build the same kind of dominant line. And remember, Jimmy didn't have the cap
Mm.
in Dallas. So he was able to keep all of his toys, and Jerry could pay for it. But then when he walked away from football and then he came back, the cap was implemented, and that was a different monster. So yeah, he probably could have left a couple of times, and he probably should have been traded, because that would have been what's best for him. Because ladies and gentlemen, I was at 62-7. I was in Jacksonville, and that was something that I'll never recover from, because, Jimmy just made a statement after the 62-7 loss, stuck his tail between his legs and walked right out the door, did not answer a question.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Marino, the man that he is, stood there and took every question, even got pissed off at Deuces Rogers, who was a reporter then. He moved to New York. I don't know where Deuces is now, but he's, I know he's still in the business somewhere. And so I know Deuces pissed him off, and he snapped at Deuces and all that, because he was pissed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy doesn't deserve that his career ends with 62-7. And that's something that those of us that lived it will never recover or even forgive, Jimmy for that. So, as some of the positives that there are there about Jimmy, just don't brag too much to me about the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Nick Saban whining and bitching about the quarterback, and they made me take this and that. Oh, get the hell out of here, dude. You had your opportunity. You're the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
You could have taken the same chance the Saints did, and you didn't. So don't whine and don't complain. You weren't fit for the pros. Get the hell out of here and stay in college. All right, that's it. It is what it is. But yeah, there are things as we go through life that we kind of regret, and that's that's one of those that we regret, man. It sucks.
So looking at the team, we're going to talk about preseason, and we'll talk about training camp. I'm going to start off with, to me, the guy who I think took the biggest leap from last year to this year, Tua Tagovailoa. I have seen a completely different Tua. Yeah, he was a rookie last year, and obviously Chan Gailey had a completely different offense for him. But the fact that I'm hearing he's pulling Austin Jackson aside and talking to him, and you see video from the Atlanta Falcons preseason game where he's talking to Waddle and Grant and saying oh, you turn here, and I get Tua just has a completely command of this offense now, and everyone is looking at him. Yeah, Gesicki coming out today saying Tua's my guy. I'll go to bat for Tua. What is your thoughts on the evolution of Tua from year one to year two?
Well, look, man, I'm not the guy to ask about this, because I never had any point of view of some of these people out there that, Tua didn't impress me.
Mm-hmm.
Tua impressed the shit out of me last year. Okay, the dude came back from a hip surgery. The offense wasn't his. It wasn't his offensive coordinator. He had no offseason. He had no contact with people. This is why I trip out with all this Watson crap, because I think the interest from the Dolphins, or the inquisition from the Dolphins, was early in this process, and they've kept this thing alive, because there's no way anybody with logic is going to be trading for Watson with 400 lawsuits waiting for him to have to be resolved. He's not going to even be what's it called? What's that when they interview? What's that called? The deposition.
Yeah,
he's not going to be deposed for several months. And you got Drew Rosenhaus coming on the air saying, well, he could be there in the next 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there going, dude, don't you have a law degree? Don't you know by now? I mean, our court systems are slow. Add COVID to it.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Everybody needs for them to come out and make a declaration. How in the hell do you think Tua can pull people aside and talk to them?
Mm-hmm.
Because they know it's his team. Because the coaches have made it known that it's his team. He doesn't have to stand in front of the team a couple of days ago and say, Tua's our guy. That shit was for show, so it can leak out to Jeff Darlington, so they can send it in other ways instead of standing there in the media, because I keep telling my guys that are on with me, it's all about precedent, ladies and gentlemen. Flo is not talking about the Watson situation, because a year from now and 3 years from now, they're going to be rumored to a cornerback and a defensive end and a wide receiver. And then they're going to say, are you interested in him or not? And they're going to say, well, we only talk about the players that are in our building. And then they're going to go, well, wait a minute. You told us you weren't interested in Watson a couple of years ago. So he's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. He's doing what Belichick does. He's doing what Pat Riley does here in our backyard, way before Belichick did it, by the way, because everybody thinks it's the Belichick way. Hell no, baby. It's the Pat Riley way. Okay? Pops does it too. Well, so these guys are doing it also. Shula didn't give you anything if he didn't want to give you anything. So it is his team. And see, the thing is, I loved what he did last year.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't his offense. It wasn't his offensive coordinator. He had no offseason. He was just training and coming back from a hip surgery, not playing football. And yet he threw more touchdowns than interceptions. And yet he won more than he lost. And for all the crap that people talk, go look at the 2 wins that Herbert had and Miami had. And you're going to see more quality wins. In fact, there are 0 quality wins on Justin Herbert's schedule. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. Their wins were complete against all the deadbeats on their schedule. Go look at the Chargers schedule. They lost to every quality team. Tua at least has a couple quality wins under his belt. So, and this is, again, not his offense, not his offensive coordinator, no offseason, didn't know the playbook, wasn't healthy. And I kept telling everybody this offseason, if you listen to our podcast every single day, I told them, watch everybody say, well, he looks great. He looks new. He looks comfortable. Of course he looks comfortable. It's his team. It's his offense. They brought Charlie Frye in, his guy. They designed the offense for him. They brought Jalen Waddle. He knows the offense. He's been practicing all offseason, playing football, not rehabbing a hip. He's been throwing to his guys. Of course his confidence is going to soar. Of course he's comfortable. He's going to be a lot more comfortable. His comfortability, or whatever you want to say, is going to be a lot higher. That's what we're watching now. We're watching the evolution of anybody. If you're a lawyer, you walk in and your first case and you're 8 years later, you're ass kicking and you're on all these, TV shows because you're you know what I mean? It's the same. Anything that you do in life at the beginning, you suck. And as you get better, you know what I mean? As it goes on, this kid had everything against him last year, and he still won more than he lost. And he still was efficient enough to help you win overall. Now, can you imagine once he knows the offense, once he knows the players, once he's comfortable with everything else? So, of course, he's going to win more. Of course, he's going to throw for more. The kid's a champion, man. People forget he came off the bench and saved Alabama's ass.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, the short-term memory we have here and the way we've treated, some of us have treated this kid, it's beyond me. So I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm one of the nutbags. I guess I'm a nutbag. I'm one of the nutbags that said that kid had an awesome year last year, considering everything that went on as a rookie. Nobody was coming back from a hip surgery. Think about that, man. In less than a year, Michael Brockers is smashing his ass to the ground. I mean, this kid, and he's tough. That's the other thing that it showed me. Tough and fearless. To be able to come back from that hip surgery in less than a year and get in there and not know the offense and all of that and still say, yeah, go ahead, coach, give me the ball. Balls, dude. Balls. I like this kid. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a star.
Everything you said, I've said time and time again. And,
it's common sense.
Yeah, it is what it is, because you see these quarterbacks coming into the NFL and they have, like, look at Joe Burrow. Perfect example. They literally took that LSU playbook and they put it in Cincinnati.
Right. Smart.
That's what you should do when you got this quarter. Look at Ryan Tannehill, right? We drafted Ryan Tannehill. Who was the offensive coordinator we brought in? His head coach at Texas. Hey, you're going to be the new offensive coordinator.
And that's what they did this year now. They brought in Charlie Frye, a guy that knows him from his transition from high school to college. Plus, Charlie played. I talked a lot about this when it first, because, when everybody was trying to decide. Here, another thing. You're trying to decipher who calls plays, and Flo tells you, it could be 6 guys. He doesn't want to tell you anything, dude. That's who he is. But anyway, I broke it down easy for everybody that was on our show. I love the way they had it because the two coordinators talk about whatever they're going to do. If they decide to run the ball and one guy says, okay, let's do this. They decide to pass the ball. They tell Frye. Frye then relays it to Tua. But the beauty is the other two guys didn't play quarterback in the NFL. Charlie Frye did. Charlie can communicate with Tua on a quarterback level. And maybe it's the same play they called in the first quarter. They called it in the third. He's going to tell them, hey, remember the safety, the free safety on that play last time, cheated over a little bit to the left. He was worried a little bit more about Fuller than he was about Waddle. So look out. All those little things that a quarterback is going to see for another quarterback. And this is a quarterback that played in the NFL and in college. I'm so old. I covered Charlie Frye's Senior Bowl game. I called the game for the Senior Bowl because I call the games at the Senior Bowl a lot of times. And I called the game that he was there. He actually played really well in the Senior Bowl that year. And he's a gutsy guy. But the way Flo designed this, again, now they're designing everything, like you said, for Tua. They brought him Waddle. They got him Fuller. They got him quick twitch guys because they need that. And he's a guy that can make quick decisions also. So you got guys that finally added some speed to this team. They added another tight end. Don't kid yourselves. 2 tight end formations make life easier for a quarterback because you got bigger targets working the middle of the field. And so that's why they got Hunter. Although we have to say the anti-vaxxers kicking some serious ass. And so, it's really nice that Hunter can be brought along slowly because Shaheem is playing really, really well. I like what he's doing overall. They have designed this offense now for Tua. They got him offensive coordinators that are going to do what he likes. They got him a guy that he knows, and the guy knows him in Charlie Frye. Watch this kid soar.
And I never even thought about it that way, because we even saw it in preseason where Charlie Frye had the headset on, and you really didn't see either Gotze or Studsville down there. And I never really thought about that Charlie Frye has that connection with Tua. So goes to Charlie Frye,
the knowledge, like and the knowledge that the other two guys don't have. He's been there in the NFL. He's seen all this stuff before. He can tell him, and there's immediate respect from any quarterback that's on the field that he's talking to a guy that played in the league. Too. Not that Tua is one of those kind of kids that's going to diss somebody just because he's not at his level. But I'm just saying it just adds credibility to the whole thing when you bring Charlie Frye. And it was so well thought of a flow. And see, the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot more exciting to write about this Watson shit and say, whoa, we want him to come out and say this, and this, instead of talking about, hey, how masterful of a job that they got the 2 coordinators, and everybody's talking about, oh, who's going to call play? Well, it goes to one guy, and it goes to a guy that played quarterback. And that, how well thought that is. That's what should be written about, right? But that stuff is boring. That's the problem. You know what I mean? So
it's funny too, because when all this stuff, and it's funny, I promised my subs I wouldn't talk about this anymore, but if you got Big O on, I can't silence Big O. So we're going to talk about it. When all this stuff came down, everyone's like, well, why doesn't he just come out and say this? And why doesn't? And I said, the thing I said to him is, okay, why doesn't he? Riddle me this. What's wrong with Javon Holland? And no one could answer it. And I'm like, because Brian Flores doesn't want you to know. We don't know what's wrong with Javon Holland. We didn't know what was wrong with Albert Wilson. We didn't know what was wrong with Fuller, Devontae Parker. We didn't know. And it's because...
Dude, there's a guy named Willie Green, plays basketball. He played for the Heat. He had an incident at a hotel down there in Brickell where he was high as hell. To this day, no one knows what happened. That's the Miami Heat. That's Pat Riley, the Godfather, burying that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And Pat Riley only tells you what you... Nobody knew Cam Newton was getting cut, dude.
No one.
Nobody. And so when anybody tells you, oh, I got inside of the Dolphins, that's crap, man. You know why? Greer and Flo talk to no one. So that's a bunch of crap. Okay. Belichick talks to no one. Popovich talks to no one. The Heat organization, they talk to no one. Don't you notice how Woj isn't breaking Heat stories because he doesn't talk to them. They don't talk to him. You understand? Nobody's breaking Belichick stories until Belichick says it's breaking now. And that's it. This is what's happening here. And people can't live with it. They can't deal with it. Eventually they'll figure it out. And he wasn't going to allow them to set the precedent of talking. He's going to keep that same line because that's the line he didn't tell all of us what Jeff Darlington broke. So, coach, you addressed the team apparently and told the team, well, anything I tell the team, it's within the team. It's the same line. You're not ask any way you want. You're not getting the answer you want. And that's the problem. There are too many people that want to run the Dolphin organization. And the problem is it's Pat Riley that runs the Heat. It's Popovich that runs the Spurs. It's Belichick that runs the Patriots. Well, get used to it, baby. It's Greer and Flo that run this thing. And this is how they're doing it. So get used to it. You're not going to get anything from them. Yeah, they're going to do, like he says, they're going to do what's best for them. And what's best for them is to keep everything under wraps.
I love it. I absolutely love it because they don't need to know. People don't. And I think it's funny that Belichick released Cam to give the Dolphins 2 weeks to prepare, because even Xavier Howard came out and said, I was preparing for Cam. I wasn't preparing for Mac Jones. I thought he might have, if he was going to do it, he would have waited a little closer to game time.
Dude, about a week and a half ago, it was Belichick that said, well, somebody's gonna have to play better than Cam in order to start. So he even threw it out there like in a way like, well, Cam's still the starter right now because he's playing the best. And look what ends up happening. So and get used to it. That's what's gonna happen here, man. Guys are gonna get released, trades are gonna happen, something's gonna happen. You don't know, you didn't see it coming from anywhere. And guess what? It works for all those other organizations. So if these guys are headed in that direction and the results are the same, I'm good, man. Yeah, I got no problem with that, right? What, is Saban giving you anything? How's it working for him on the college level, right?
I would love to see a Super Bowl in my lifetime.
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming.
I was born in 87.
2021 is the tune-up. 2022 is the title, baby. That's it right there.
Now, speaking of surprises, Benardrick McKinney getting released. Were you shocked by that, or were you like, I could see that coming?
Well, okay, so I talked a little bit about this on my show. Benardrick McKinney is Brandon Spikes.
Gotcha.
So I can talk, we're going to have to do a lot of New England comparisons down the line because we have a tree, a branch from that tree.
Yeah.
And so Brandon Spikes was a 2-down linebacker out of Florida. Terrific 2-down linebacker. And so, I remember when he first signed and Omar and I were having a conversation. He goes, well, coach says they're going to try to use him more in pass rush and they're going to try to use him in coverage. And right away I told Omar that ain't working. That ain't Benardrick McKinney cannot cover. No, he's not a pass rusher. He's a thumper. He is a human fire hydrant. Okay. And he's really good at that. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, you got to have versatility on this team.
Yeah.
So if you can help out on offense, they want you to help out on special teams too. If you can play one position, they'd like to see if you can play another position. A lot of fans / Dolphin fans are like, well, why didn't they get Rousseau? Because he had the 2 sacks so far in the preseason. And they got Jalen Phillips. And it's simple. It's fit. Rousseau can only play end. So, yeah, and he could do a good job for you. And I think he's a disruptive dude. I think I see some Chris Jones in this guy. I love Rousseau, but I understand what they can do with Phillips. They can play him at end. They can play him at linebacker. They can rush him. They can drop him back in coverage. They can do whatever they want with him because he's a superb athlete. And they want to keep the offense guessing. That's why they've got that amoeba defense that everybody's standing around like a cocktail party and the ball snapped and everybody goes somewhere. And the offense doesn't know who's who, where's what, and what's going on, but they do, right? And that you're going to need versatility for that. So sometimes an end is going to have to drop back in coverage because you're sending an extra linebacker or a corner or a safety or something along those lines. And so, again, what happened with Minkovich? Okay, so Minka Fitzpatrick doesn't want to play multiple positions. He wants to whine like a little bitch, right? And mom's complaining and all that. So they ship his ass out of here. In comes the kid from Oregon now. And guess what Javon Holland can do? Javon Holland can play safety, can play nickel for you, right? Can do all kinds of things, can cover tight ends, can help you on run support. This is a kid that will play that Swiss Army knife role that they want without complaining. So they go and get him. And by the way, the same guy drafted Minka drafted Javon Holland. So, it's exactly, you know what I mean? That's what I love about this and what I think is developing before our eyes. So, for me, it's just, you got to have versatility on this offense. And Benardrick McKinney had none. And Landon Roberts also isn't very versatile.
And so he hits hard.
Have 2 linebackers taking up spots that don't help you out on special teams, that aren't pass rushers and can't cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they decided, and they felt he was healthy enough and they were happy enough with it, that they said, we can only take 1 2-down linebacker. And they settled on Landon Roberts. And I think that was the decision behind it. And you know what I also love? I heard people, whoa, what? You know, the Dolphins didn't honor Bernardrick McKinney's contract and they cut it. Well, yeah, goddamn right they cut it, because they didn't think he was that good. And guess what? Look at it. They didn't even think he was good enough to make the team, much less pay him, you know, whatever, $7 million that they made him take a pay cut, because they knew he was limited.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Houston's stupid enough to pay him doesn't mean Miami's going to be stupid enough to pay him. You know what I mean? And so that's where, you know, you got that situation going on. So
and like you said,
versatility is what cost Bernardrick McKinney his job, and versatility is what will cost you your job here with the Miami Dolphins all over the place. Let me tell you, this is why I'm surprised they kept as many receivers as they kept, because Preston Williams, I know they tried him in punt returns, but he really isn't a special teamer. Devontae Parker doesn't help you out on special teams. Albert Wilson doesn't help you out on special teams. So that's kind of dangerous. And then Waddle is a guy that's coming off foot surgery. So what are you going to do? Make him a full-time receiver and a full-time returner? No, he'll be maybe an occasional returner. That's why I've said Miami needs to be Tyreek Hill and Hardeman. And Hardeman is Jakeem Grant, your full-time returner. But at the end of a fourth quarter, at the end of a half, you're down by 6 or 3, and you got to punt. Hey, let's send in the juice.
Yep.
Let's send in Jalen Waddle. And that like they do. They don't use Tyreek Hill all the time. They use Tyreek Hill occasionally when they need that extra juice. And because he's a bigger player, he can probably break tackles more than Jakeem and all of that. So that's why. So versatility is key here. And I'm surprised they kept as many receivers. And I'm interested to see that after week 1, when Fuller comes back, who again is not really, you're using him as a returner or a gunner, and he's so injury prone, I doubt you want him in any kind of contact anyways. So, you know, when he comes back, what happens? I've been saying you either trade or cut Albert Wilson. I thought they'd cut him, but I thought that they would trade him. I thought for sure they'd keep Jakeem. So it'll be interesting to see when Fuller comes back. Is it another position, or do they cut a receiver? Because are they going to keep really 7 receivers and that many guys that don't help you out on special teams? That kind of goes against what they normally do.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, because I remember during training camp when I kept hearing that it was Waddle, Grant, and I think it was Perry were doing punt returns. I was like, why is Waddle back there? And I kept getting comments, you know, hey, he's a rookie, he's got to do his thing, yada yada. And I'm like, I'm all fine and dandy with situationally having Waddle do punt returns like Deshaun Jackson or Tyreek Hill. Like, the Dolphins are down by 2. They made a stop. The opposing team is punting from their own 15. Minute 15 left, get Waddle out there. He'll get us in position to kick a field goal if we need to. So yeah, 100% we're on the same page with that. Looking at the season, what is your expectation? Like, what is your
11 wins
floor on this?
11 wins. 11 wins, playoffs. I think they can challenge Buffalo for the division. Let's be honest, okay? Because I'm not one of those guys also that's going to just be, you know, I'm going to put on the pom-poms and I'm going to just start. Buffalo should win the division. Buffalo is the better team right now. They're the more seasoned team right now. Hey, this is why I always say 2021 is the tune-up and 2022 is the title, because I think next year is the year the Dolphins will have a legit shot at it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you they can't beat Buffalo. They almost did last year.
Yeah.
This year, they're going to be better. They're going to be deeper. They're going to be more experienced. They're more talented now at this point in time. I love this coaching staff. Finally, we have a coaching staff that makes adjustments, a coaching staff that their team improves as the year goes on, a coaching staff that players get better also from year to year. You know, I'm expecting Raekwon Davis to make a huge leap this year. I think that's a guy that has all the talent to be a monster. I think this team wins 11 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out a 12th, but I expect them to be in the playoffs this year. I really do. I really do.
And a lot of people look at this schedule and think it's hard because we face Tampa Bay, we face the Ravens, Buffalo, Tennessee, and some people, I don't know if you heard about Pat McAfee's situation, but Pat McAfee has the Dolphins in the cellar of the AFC East. He has the Jets doing better than the Dolphins.
you know, man, to each his own. If that's the way he looks at it, that's fine. Look, man, there's gonna be a lot of people eating a lot of crow in about 4 to 6 weeks from now after they watch to a ball and they go, oh yeah, I was wrong about that kid. And you know, same thing with Gesicki. People crapped on Gesicki after his first year and he took off.
Yep.
That's gonna happen. And so, you know what? Pat McAfee will learn his lesson too. And I guess he hasn't watched Flo beat Belichick and Brady in Foxborough with barely a team in the 17th week of the season, a game they desperately needed, and Flo clearly outcoached them, and the team outplayed them. And that was a team that had very little talent and got better after 0. See, the problem is people don't understand that after 0-7, Miami's 15-10.
Yeah.
You know, it's like nobody takes into account, and they don't. Well, they went from 5 wins to 10 wins. So you expect them to go back to 5 wins? No, man, that's not what this team is. This team is going to be better this year. You know, but that's just me. That's what I see.
And that's the biggest thing. And that's why I like the combination we have with Flores and Tua, because both of those guys tend to learn from their mistakes and then they don't do them again. Like the game where Tua, you know, throws the interceptions against New England and Miami last year. The very next drive down the field, instead of him trying to make a play again, he kept the ball, made this guy miss, running it for a touchdown. Like they don't forget.
On a bad hip, he did that, by the way.
And I heard that people say that Tua can't make people miss.
Oh, please.
I've heard people say this in the comment section, and I don't see it, because ask Buda Baker if one hipped Tua can, like, he made Buda Baker look like an idiot.
Right.
And he was at like 60%.
He broke his ankle. Broke his ankle.
Yeah. Just give him a whoop and just.
Yeah. And he's better now. He's healthier now. Now he's, you know, back to himself. So he's going to be even more dangerous out there as he gets comfortable, like any rookie, like anybody that starts a new job. Just got to be patient, man. We have this microwave society and everybody wants it done right away. And who's to say that Herbert doesn't take a step back this year like Baker Mayfield did? Baker had a great rookie year, and then he took a step back the second year because they kind of figured him out a little bit, and then he had to kind of counter the following year, and he had a good year last year. You never know what happens. So I'm going to laugh when I watch Tua ball, and then people are going to be eating crow, and they're going to be going, oh, yeah, I know I got that one wrong. You damn right. You got it wrong.
I talk about that a lot, too, with because Justin Herbert, we're both not knocking him. He had a fantastic rookie year.
Terrific.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm pretty sure RG3 also had a fantastic rookie year, and so did Marcus Mariota.
Better than Luck that year. It was like, well, wait a minute, you know, did they get the better player at that moment, like some people said, you know, and
now look where they are.
Right, exactly. Well, it helps. It doesn't help that Mike Shanahan leaves you in there when you've got a broken leg practically, and it's like
he ruined that kid's career.
He's kind of like, you know, can barely walk. Yeah, go ahead, finish it off, kid. Kirk Cousins is my guy. Because you know that whole thing, right? It was Snyder that wanted RG3, and it was and so after they drafted RG3, Shanahan didn't believe in RG3, so he then went and drafted Kirk Cousins. It's the same thing as Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson didn't want Troy Aikman. I don't know if you guys know this.
I did.
Okay, Jimmy Johnson didn't want Troy Aikman. It took Gil Brandt standing like on tables and screaming at the top of his lungs, you can't pass this guy up, and all, because Jimmy had the experience from college and he broke his leg and went to UCLA and all that other stuff. So he wasn't really high on Troy Aikman. So then what happened? The supplemental draft comes around a month later and he takes Steve Walsh. He didn't believe in Troy Aikman. And then Troy Aikman goes and kicks ass and he goes, oh, okay, yeah, I can now trade Steve Walsh. And so then he trades Steve Walsh. And so that, you know, it's, you know, these are, sometimes the genius isn't so much the genius you think he is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's a little luck that gets involved, and Tom Brady falls to you in the 6th round. You say, yeah, let's take a chance on him. You know, it's not like they drafted him going, yeah, let's draft that guy. He's going to win 6 titles for us.
Right.
It's 6th round, 6. He's not 1, not 2, not 3. He's going to win 6. And yeah, you're right. That's what they said. You know, so sometimes it's a little luck, but when you see them leave RG3 in, and you think about that story that he didn't really want RG3.
Oh, makes sense now.
You're kind of like, yeah, you're probably serving his ass up so you can get your boy Kirk in there and justify, because of course he was the mastermind, which is his nickname.
Watching him try to break that tackle and his knee just collapse, I was like, oh, why is he in there? Now I know.
Yeah. Haloti Ngata just left, broke him in half. Like, yeah, you don't want to run into Haloti Ngata, dude. That's a bad day at the office.
So before I let you get out of here, we got to talk. You talked about Tom Brady. We got to talk about week 1.
Yeah.
Mac Jones versus Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
They show picture of Mac Jones. I think it was his rookie year at Alabama. And they're like, hey, he looked just like Tom Brady. What is your thoughts going into this game? Now, a lot of people, there's people out there who are like, Mac Jones did really good in preseason. This isn't a pushover. And then there's some people like, he's a rookie. Look what Brian Flores did to another rookie, Justin Herbert. So what's your thoughts going into this Patriots game?
I feel great about this game against the Patriots. I think Miami is going to beat them. So Mac Jones is going to beat the secondary that Miami has. No, I'm sorry, dude. That's just X will lock up one side of the field and then just have this safety cheat over on the Jones side. Holland will then, roam and do his thing. And you got Eric Rowe covering one of the tight ends. Hunter Henry will even try to get on the field, but he's more injured than RG3 more weeks than not. So it's not like something I fear. I don't fear it. I don't fear it at all. I think Miami is going to make life miserable for him. He's a rookie. I don't expect him to go in and start lighting people up.
Yeah.
They also are missing their best corner, who's out for the first 6 weeks. So that helps out. And I know that they don't have Fuller, but if Albert Wilson is anything close to those 10 days in shorts, then maybe that will definitely help out, overall. But they should have enough in the receiving core to cause some damage against the Patriots. And I think Tua is going to surprise people. So I'm not as concerned about the Patriots as other people are. I'm not buying the hype. I'm buying more desperation. I saw them spend a lot of money in free agency. And guess what? For 20 years, I saw the Dolphins do the same damn thing. And it never helps. It never works out. You must develop your own core. If you try to live off of free agency, you're going to die there. And Hunter Henry is always injured. Nelson Aguilar, he has moments. He has talent. But I don't know if he's a guy that you count on week in and week out to be, one of your top receivers. I think he's a complimentary guy at best. So that way, when he's not on, you can just take him out of the game plan. You know what I'm saying? But when he's on, okay, that's fine. He hasn't graduated to that point where he's one of those guys that's an upper echelon guy that can lead your team. So I'm not one of those people buying the Patriots. I think they'll be the 3rd team in the division. I disagree with our boy. I have the Jets at the bottom. Patriots are 3rd. Dolphins should be 2nd. But again, I think there's a shot that they could be number 1, 2 in this division. But I got to give it to Buffalo. They deserve the respect. They've earned it, man. Definitely. They're the king of the mountain right now. And Miami's got to knock them down.
Definitely. Well, Big O, thank you so much for stopping by again. This isn't going to be the last time. I'm gonna do like a weekly show with you.
Let's do it, man. We can do a weekly hit. I got no problem with that.
They love it when you come on. It's always a blast. Obviously, if for the people who didn't watch the first time you're on, where can they find you?
Well, we do a show every day live on YouTube. It's Big O Radio Show. You can find it on all platforms. Go to YouTube, please, and subscribe there at Big O Radio Show. And, of course, on Twitter at Big O Show. You can find us. You can subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and all over those places. Big O Radio Show. Search on most platforms. We're on every day, 10 to 1 on average. We do a little Saturday hit, too. We've got the best insiders in South Florida, Omar Kelly, Joe Shad, and Alan Poupart. All 3 guys are on our show exclusively in South Florida. They can't be heard anywhere else in South Florida. We talk all sports too, but obviously Dolphins is, the heart and soul of everything that we do. And we've done for 31 years here in South Florida. And I've been doing radio for 31 years, but we're on the digital path now because that's the way of the world now at this point. So we would love for you to join us in the journey at the Big O Radio Show.
Yes, I will link it below. I will put
Thank
the
you.
Twitter handle and everything. Go over, support Big O, support the Miami Dolphins, support everyone down there.
Oh, and by the way, we will have our own pre and post game show. We'll be doing it at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes and in Miami all year long, 2 hours before the game, 2 hours after the game. And again, we'll have 3 insiders that will travel with the team, be in the locker rooms, all that stuff. So we'll carry Flo's press conference. We'll have any breaking news. We'll take your questions and comments. And if you come to South Florida, make sure you visit us, at least on the post-game show if you're going to go to the game. I would love to see all of you out there. Appreciate you.
Definitely. All right, Big O. Thank you so much for stopping by.
You got it. Be good. We'll catch you next time.
Always a pleasure having Big O on. Maybe we will do a weekly thing. Comment below. Let me know if you'd want us to do a weekly talk thing. Maybe every Tuesday. I don't know. But thank you so much again to Big O. Always fantastic talking to him. Makes me laugh. And I hope I make him laugh. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think about what me and Big O talked about. A lot of it, I just say this because he left. And I said, they don't want to talk about Watson anymore. And I don't want to talk about Watson anymore. And he was like, well, I'm going to talk about it. And I was like, all right. And you can't stop him. So I'm glad he did, though. He made some very good sense. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. But that is the video. If you guys haven't noticed, want to get it done merch is linked below. If you want to grab yourself some, that'd be fantastic. But again, I want to reiterate this because I say this to you guys all the time. Don't feel like you need to join the Patreon. You need to join the membership. You need to donate. You need to super chat. You need to do any of that stuff. Watching the videos, hitting that thumbs up, and more specifically, commenting. I know some of you guys just watch, and that's all fine and dandy. Don't feel like you need to, but I love hearing from you guys. Helps me grow as a content creator, and it makes this stuff better for you because I know what you guys want. That's why I got in trouble. Not in trouble, but people were like, could you please stop talking about Deshaun Watson? But if you guys want me to, I'm gonna. You guys are the boss. So I'm going to do mostly what you want me to do. Mostly. Because I know some of you guys are ridiculous. But I love you for it. But I'll see you guys. What day is it today? I'll probably see you guys on Monday. We got to start getting ready for the season. Monday, the 6th, we are going to be breaking down the schedule. I'm going to give you my picks, what the Dolphins are going to do, their record prediction. Then on Wednesday, week 1 of picks. Thursday is the kickoff. Friday, preview video. Miami Dolphins taking on New England Patriots, Tua versus Mac Jones. And Sunday, September 12th, Miami Dolphins in Foxborough, 4:25. I will be live breaking that game down. So hope you guys subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you Monday. Unless news breaks, then you'll see me tomorrow or Sunday. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.